Good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this global training session dedicated to researchers wishing to publish open access in Wiley journals. This is a mass training, and it is extremely interesting and exciting to have really people from all over the world connecting together. And so it's a great opportunity for me to share my knowledge, my expertise, and of course, also hear your questions, your comment, and your experiences. This is the whole point of organizing this mass training. We have a lot of registrants. We have over 500 people covering at least 100 countries. So far, there are 93. So there are so many people that are still connecting. In the meantime, let me present myself. My name is Fabio Di Bello, and I'm Senior Customer Training Manager at Wiley. And I'd like to also give you some advices on how to use the platform, GoToWebinar platform, in case you're not familiar with it. So first of all, I welcome your questions. As I said, please use your control panel and click on the tab questions. Click on the arrow and you will see that the box will enlarge itself and you can write your questions. For instance, it would be great to know where you are from. Where are you from? From which country? If you want to just write it in the question section, the country where you're from, just we'll read it through here. Just for my curiosity. And so I can see Shio from Japan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Wow, it's so exciting. So we have really Spain, India, Iran, Malaysia, Belgium. Wow, Zambia. This is really a fantastic experience, So you have now known how to use the question tab. Of course, feel free to ask any question during my training. Anything that is not clear, any doubt that you may have, I'm here to answer all of your doubts. Also, feel free to download the slides. I put up a lot of slides that contain a lot of useful material. If you wish to download the slides, go to the Handouts tab, click on it, and just click on the PDF file, just download it, and feel free to share it with your peers and with whoever need it. Lastly, this session is being recorded, and expect to receive an email within 1 day. Please check your spam folder in case you haven't received the email. But the whole point of receiving the email is for you to access the register section. So we provide a link for you to access the recording, share the recording with anyone that you deem interested in the recording, and also you will receive a certificate of attendance in case you need it for administration purposes. Well, I think I said it all, and wow, the numbers have gone up dramatically. So welcome to all the people who just joined this session. This is a huge session. Your microphone and cameras are, shut down by default. But if you wish to talk to me, just raise your hand and I will unmute you so that you can talk. If you want to raise your hand, go to attendees and click on the raised hand icon. Great. So let's just break the ice here. And this is the plan for today. So I would like to show you what is the advantages, what are the benefits of publishing your articles open access rather than in subscription-only mode. and also giving you an understanding of what is a transformational agreement. We have a lot of this agreement in many countries in the world. So maybe your country has a transformational agreement, and in that case, there are important things that you need to know, because that will make the difference, really a huge difference in your publication process. And then I would like to share some very useful practical tips for authors who are in the process of publishing. Tips that will increase your effectiveness in writing, in submitting, and in facing the peer review. And so therefore increase your success in publishing your articles, promoting your articles. I will show you some softwares that you can use that are really powerful and free of charge, and hopefully will help you resolve a lot of problems that you encounter during the publication process, and will also help you avoid mistakes that usually researchers do when they publish their articles. And of course, there's going to be a Q&A session towards the end of the session. So again, feel free to write your questions. I'll try to do my best to answer them all. And I'd like to run a quick poll now. So the question I'm asking all of you to answer is this. So it would be very good for me to understand if you have ever published a paper in an open access peer review journal. Okay, in any publisher, not necessarily with Wiley. So you have 4 possible answers. Yes, you have published with Wiley or with another publisher, or simply you have never published open access, and not yet, but I'm about to write and publish an article, and possibly considering the possibility to publish open access. So 50% of you have already answered. That's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for answering. Of course, your answers are anonymized, so privacy is conserved. It's fantastic. I can see a lot of interesting data coming out from your answers. And I'm now going to share the results with all of you. So this is how you answered. So just 5% of you have published open access with Wiley, 35% with another publisher, and so I would say 40% have some experience with publishing open access, but the rest don't. And I can see that 34% of you is, considering to write and publish an article, and that's absolutely a very interesting and important element. And I really hope that this session will make the difference and will really help you publish your forthcoming article. Thank you so much again for answering. And let's get started. Let's get started. So, first of all, for those of you who are not familiar with Wiley, just a very, very brief introduction. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but Wiley is one of the world's foremost academic and professional publishers in the world. We are very well known for our established partnerships with the most important leading international scientific societies. We have over 1,000 partnerships. We are a very old society. We've been running for over 200 years, and we have a huge customer base. We have nearly 20 million researchers worldwide who systematically, daily access our content for advancing research and solving technical problems. We're also very proud to say that over 450 authors who published their research with Wiley journals were awarded with Nobel Prize. And I really hope you're going to be the next one. Okay, let's come to talking about open access. Now, why open access can really make the difference in terms of success for your articles. Now, you said that 34% of you is going to write an article and probably publish it. So now you have three options out there. You can publish your article in subscription-only journals. Well, these are the traditional journals where authors don't need to pay anything, so it's free to publish, but readers must have a subscription to the journal in order to access, download, and share your paper. In reality, Wiley, but also other publishers, the other very important publishers, have just a tiny fraction of these kind of journals. The majority of journals that we publish are either fully gold open access or hybrid. Now, what is the difference? The difference is that fully gold open access journals, and we publish something like 550 open access journals. Well, these are journals where every single article is published open access. Now, authors must pay in APC, it's called article publication charge, to publish open access in these journals. And the advantage is that the article is freely available for everyone in the world to read, access, download, reuse, and share. So obviously there is a great advantage, but the article publication charge can vary from like $1,000, but it can reach up to $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000, depending on the journal. So this can be an obstacle sometimes for researchers who don't have access to specific funds to pay for the APC. Hybrid journals, there are actually the majority of the journals that we publish, we're talking about 1,200 hybrid journals, are journals where you have two options. If you have the money to publish and to pay for the APC, you can publish open access. If you don't have the money to pay for the APC, you can still publish on those journals in subscription-only mode. That's why they're called hybrid, because you have a dual option. Articles can be published either behind or outside the paywall. Now, to be honest with you, there are just other types of other forms of open access where you can publish free of charge. Now, typically, fully gold open access requires the payment of APC. They are published under Creative Commons Attribution License. This means that the author retains the copyright. But if you don't have the money, if you don't have any access to any specific fund, you can still publish open access in green, bronze, or diamond journals. Green open access means that you as an author can self-archive a version of the subscription article in an online repository or a website. But there is an embargo period, which means 12 up to 24 months embargo period. There are also other open access articles that are called bronze. So these are articles that you normally publish in subscription journals that for some reasons are made free to read by the publisher. And that's a publisher decision. So you don't have to pay anything. It's a publisher that decides to basically make your article open access. Maybe because your article is really successful, it's a hot topic, and it's a publisher decision. And finally, there are some diamond open access journals where basically you can publish free of charge, and the APC is basically sponsored by someone, by an association, and so there is no cost for you involved. Another thing which is really important is to understand the meaning of the different Creative Commons licenses, the license which you need to choose when you publish your article. Now, the majority of open access articles are published under the Creative Commons attribution license, which is the first one that you can see in the slide. They are called CC BY license. This is the most accommodating of licenses, allowing reusers to distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format. The license also allows for commercial use. But bear in mind that there might be some journals, and above all, there might be some funders or grants that might impose more restrictive licenses. So if you are using a grant, if someone is paying for your research, well, this institution might impose a Creative Commons attribution non-commercial NC or no derivative, or even a more restrictive one like the CC BY NC ND. You just have to accept it. Obviously, if you have a choice, I strongly encourage you to use the CC BY license, okay? That maximizes dissemination and impact. Okay, just to wrap up, this is just some statistical data that have come out from an analysis that we conducted using 4 years of publication data in Wiley journals. And we wanted to ascertain what was the greater impact of articles published open access versus articles published in subscription-only mode. As you can see from the data, publishing open access allows you to receive on average 3 times more downloads, 150% more citations, and nearly 3 times higher altmetric attention score. So obviously these are compelling reasons why it will be so useful for you to publish open access. I talked to you about the fact that depending on the country where you are located, depending on the affiliation for which you are working, for which you are researching, there might be the opportunity to publish open access free of charge. What does it mean? It means that your institution might have a transformational agreement with us. It means that there is an agreement between your institution and Wiley for accessing all of our journals and also publish open access free of charge. So there is a fund that has been allocated by your institution or by a national consortium of universities that allows you to publish open access using a central fund. So you don't have to worry about finding the money to pay for the APC. So that's very important. And you can check, if you click on the link here, you can check your eligibility. And again, depending on the institution where you are located and the country where you're located, you can check whether or not you are eligible to receive funding for the APC. All right. I can see that there is someone, Ramez, that is asking, can we be provided with a presentation that we can extend the same on our own campus? Yes, absolutely, Ramez. Perhaps you just joined later, but I remind all of you to just download the slides that you can reuse and share and upload in your internet portal, but you have to do it right during the session. So go to Handouts and click on the PDF link. Let me know if you have any troubles. If you have any troubles downloading the slides, I will put a link in the chat. And so please let me know. And again, there is a question regarding the link for testing eligibility. It's in the slides. And if you go to our website, you can basically find the section where we talk about open access agreement. And I will show you later because I will basically connect to our site. So I will show you where you can find this information. Thank you for the question, Elvis. So are we ready now to get a deep dive into publication tips? So get advice from our experts in publishing. Well, there is no need for me to tell you why it is so important for you to publish your work. I just listed here the four most important elements in terms of registration, which means establish the ownership and the priority of your work, recognition, being acknowledged by your peers. It is absolutely vital for career progression, to get promotions, to apply for grants and research fundings. And finally, it's important for responsibility to society, to your institution, to taxpayer-funded research. Now, what are the important elements that you should consider before you even start writing your article? Well, first of all, finding the right place to publish. And it's not easy at all. And I will show you some softwares that you can use that will help you finding the right place, the right journal to submit your paper, okay? Some other considerations. Try to define, before you even start writing your article, what type of article you're writing, because obviously the type of article might affect your eligibility to get funding, for instance, for publishing open access. Not all articles are normally eligible in our contracts. Our contracts normally include original articles and review articles. So again, try to be very clear in your mind the type of article, knowing that it might affect a possible funding. Also, try to define exactly the target audience. Who are you writing for? Who are you trying to reach? Are you trying to promote a new idea? Are you trying to formulate a new theory? And that's very important because the target audience will affect the style, the tone, the language, the logical structure, the flow of your entire article. Also, try to define what will make your publication successful for you, not in general, but for you. Each of you might have different priorities. Each of you might have different preferences. It is very important that you make these preferences and these success metrics explicit for you. And then in general, be self-aware. What does it mean, be self-aware? Well, be self-aware of the potential threats, errors, mistakes that you can do unintentionally, and that can lead to a rejection of your article, or it can even lead to unethical behavior and ruin your reputation as a researcher. And I'm going to show you how this can happen and what could be some golden rules that you can apply to avoid incurring into this kind of mistakes. Now, as I told you before, finding the right journal where to submit a paper is not an easy job. Besides these bullet points that you can read here in the slides, I will show you a potential application of a software called Journal Finder, which will help you get all the information you need to make the best informed decision as to the best journal to submit your paper. I will also show you another very powerful software called Find the Journal that is right for your research. This software will help you pinpoint the best journal title that aligns with the aim and the scope of your article. Why this is important? Because when you submit your paper, the first thing editors do is to make sure that the focus of your article matches the focus of the journal. Excuse me. So I'm going to run a demo, a live demo at the end of the session. So stay tuned. Some other considerations. Now, besides the aim and the scope, be very mindful of two other indicators. The publication timescales, how long does it take for your article to be published in a specific journal? We can provide you with this information. We can tell you how long does it take on average for a journal to give you an answer, to come up with a decision. We can tell you on average how long it takes on average for a journal to complete the peer review process. So if you are in a hurry, you need to publish your paper as soon as possible. Well, this information can be vital in selecting the right journal, as well as likelihood of acceptance. Each journal has got different acceptance rates. If your objective is to get published and you want to increase the likelihood of your paper to get accepted, well, you need to consider the likelihood of acceptance of each single journal. So that also will affect your decision. And what else? Obviously, the impact factor, the citations, the metrics, the traditional journal metrics, but not only the journal metrics. Consider also the way the journals promote articles, the way social media are used to promote the contents that are published in the articles, the sharing policies, the accessibility, the fact that the journal allows open access publication or not. Okay, now, how can I help you? What kind of advice can I give you when structuring your research article? So that's the typical structure of a research article, starting from the title up to the author's acknowledgement. Now, please be mindful about the fact that when you write your article, when you format every chapter, every section, you must respect the author submission guidelines. If you don't do that, you're risking your article to be returned to you, okay? So make sure that when you submit your paper, you read, you understand and you apply the rules that are specified in the author submission guidelines. And I will show you where to find these guidelines when you are submitting a paper to a journal. What can I say about titles? Well, titles are vital, of course. They should be typically short. Long titles are not attention grabbing. So maximum 20 substantial words. The importance of the keywords that must be upfront and optimized. Possibly clearly state a key finding. Use current terminology, avoid vague language and non-standard abbreviation. And what about the abstract? Well, we traditionally suggest researchers to use the rule of the 20 seconds. So you have 20 seconds to explain your work to a scientist who is unfamiliar with it. So that's the general rule. Translating it means short, standalone summary of your research. That's it. Don't cram the abstracts with details. Use plain language. Don't use citations. Don't use non-standard abbreviations. Include the keywords. And also, remember to write an effective, powerful cover letter. The cover letter is absolutely important. If you don't write a cover letter, you're wasting an opportunity. The cover letter explains to you why your work is significant, what is the major advance, why the journal is the right one. It's important to grab the attention of the editor. And above all, this is the perhaps most critical part. The majority of mistakes are found here in the references section. Be sure to cite all the papers on which your work is based. And also, be sure not only that the citations are complete, comprehensive, but they must be relevant. And avoid excessive self-citations. Remember that the majority of top journals are international. So try to cite global studies. Don't just cite articles that are coming from your territory. And one more thing that is not in this slide. If you are promoting a new idea, if there is something controversial, a theory that is not entirely accepted by the scientific community, avoid cherry picking. Avoid just selecting the citations that support your theory or your point, your viewpoint. Try to be comprehensive and cite also papers who do not support your viewpoint. This shows the editor your professional attitude and also shows that you are unbiased. So it's a good point, not a bad point, to acknowledge contrasting hypotheses that go against your theory. Well, I talked to you about the importance of SEO, search engine optimization. Remember that the majority of researchers search databases, not journals. So you need to be sure that you enter in your paper the right keywords, the keywords that scientists use to search databases. You can see here in the graph that nearly 50% of the landings to our journals are coming from external databases. So try to make an effort to use standardized keywords coming from controlled vocabularies that you can find in subject-specific databases like PubMed, Scopus, Web of Science, and so on. Now, you are coming from so many different countries where English is not your primary language. Now, obviously, these bullet points that you can read here are practical advices. And probably and I would like to ask you a question, how many of you are actually using generative artificial intelligence tools, tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, DeepSeek, tools like that to improve language. Please let me know in the question section, because you need to be, of course, aware of the fact that these tools are very powerful in improving language and correcting mistakes, grammar mistakes, syntactical errors, and so on. But I need to tell you something more about the use of artificial intelligence, and I will tell you, I will give you some advices in a couple of slides. But obviously, you all know that if you're not, English mother, if you're well, I'm Italian as well. I'm located in Italy. English is not my primary language either. So when I write English, of course, I have noticed that using large language models, improve my language dramatically. Not only my language, but also the logical flow, the vocabulary, the logical structure, the fluency of my English. But one thing is improving language on a text that you have written, and one thing is writing an entire paper using ChatGPT. You have to be very, very, very careful. First of all, we have now specific detection software that not only detects the traditional plagiarism, text recycling, but also AI text generation. So be mindful. And if I were you, I would run your manuscript using one of the softwares out there, like, for instance, Authenticate. Because if there is a problem with your paper, it is better to address the problem before you submit. Otherwise, it's too late. So there are many software of this. There are even free of charge software. There are, I don't know, copy leaks, and I don't know, many other softwares that tries to help you detect and give you an indicator of the risk of plagiarism contained in your text. Okay, now let's come to submission. This is the place where you can find the auto guidelines. Under the contribute section, the first item is auto guidelines. And here you can find everything you need to know about the format, the style, the length, the figures, the tables, how to format every single section of your paper. Also, remember to register using the Orchid ID when you submit. Don't forget to do that. And when we talk about peer review, remember that peer review is the evaluation of your work with the purpose of improving your paper. We are not there to criticize you. We are there to improve your work in terms of understandability, credibility, and novelty, and so on. So the peer review process is very complex, and that's the workflow. Your paper can be rejected either immediately or even after a first review or a second review. The advice I give you is when you answer the criticism coming from the peer review report, try to address every item and try to, of course, respond and make the changes that are requested, but you are not obliged to make all the changes. So if you don't make a change, just be prepared to write a report that explains the reason why you are not changing what you are being requested to change in the report. And here are some tips to survive, like accept the feedback as a learning experience. And also remember that very few submissions are accepted unconditionally. So be prepared to face a lot of criticism, a lot of requests for changes, address all the changes, and be very patient, very, very patient. One thing, when your paper gets accepted, of course, you should celebrate, but remember to check proofs, because don't assume that everything is going fine. From the moment your article gets published up to the moment in which your article gets published online, there are a lot of stages, like you can see here. There's a copy editing, typesetting, HTML and PDF proofs. So be very quick, be very responsive, don't waste time. Otherwise, you risk delaying the publication that has already been accepted. All right. After publication, you want to improve the dissemination, and we have 9 promotional tools that we recommend you to use. And we have here this link to this website, wileyauthors.com/maximize, or you can email us at authormarketing@wiley.com. We are happy to help you put into action all of these tools to make sure that your article gets the right promotion. And we also offer article promotion services on our Wiley editing services platform, which is a full-fee platform. We're running out of time, so I need to be very quick. I told you about unethical behavior. These are the most important elements that are considered unethical. Fraud, data falsification, duplicate submission, inadequate citing, also is considered bad behavior. Duplicate publication. So try not to do that. And again, if you are using artificial intelligence, what is the policy that the majority of publishers like Wiley put in place? You can use artificial intelligence, but you must cite what tools you have used, for what task, and you must declare it into the methods section. So there's going to be a transparent use of AI. And remember that whatever tool you use, even the most advanced AI, the most professional AI, you are responsible for all the contents that you publish. In this link here, you can find our policy and the guidelines for a responsible use and a safe use of AI tools by researchers. Well, how is detected? It's, unethical behavior is efficiently detected by the peer review community, by the members of your community, by the scientific community, by data analysis and analysts. And so these are some golden rules. First of all, if you use AI, just be transparent. Declare quite bluntly what AI you have used and how you have used it. And remember, articles should always be submitted to one journal at a time. The same article should not be published in more than one place. And several articles based on same research must each make a unique contribution. And remember to acknowledge all those that have contributed to the work. Okay, wrapping up. What are the tools that you can use? There are 2 sites, Wiley Author Services, and this is the link, simply authorservices.wiley.com. You will find a lot of useful information. I'm going to switch and go online because I want to give you a demo. and a demo of all of these software tools that you can find. So what I'm going to do now is go online, read your questions. Remember that this is my email address, ftbello@wiley.com. Feel free to send me an email if I didn't manage to answer all of the questions. I can see a lot of questions, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for these questions. They are very important to me. So I'll do my best now to answer some of these questions. But again, if I don't have enough time, write to me and I will answer you. I promise. All right, so let me just give you a demo. Okay, practical demonstration. Sorry, Dominique, are you still there? Are you there?
Hi, Fabio. Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, can you see my screen, Wiley Online Library?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because when you switch screens. So this is the Wiley Online Library platform. If you scroll down, you go to authors. The first item is submit a paper. Click on submit a paper, and you'll land on this page that contains different sections. The first one is find a journal. And if you click on find a journal, you'll see two softwares free of charge, Journal Finder, and the second one is find journal that match your title and abstract, and that's the link. So if you click on the first one, Journal Finder, you'll be accessing the software, and you'll be able to basically use the subject areas filters. So if you're trying to publish in chemistry, you can choose if you want to publish in a fully gold open access or in a hybrid journal. If you're not sure you have the money to pay for it, and then you'll get the list of all the journals, and you'll see here that you can also compare more journals at the time. So you can compare up to 4 journals and have a comparative analysis. And so all the data that matters to you are compared. Okay, so you'll be able to make the best informed decision. And the other software, which I find it really useful, is the journal matching tool. So if you upload the title of your manuscript and the abstract and click on find, the software will pull out the best journal titles that match the aim and the scope of your article. And again, another powerful software that is available in the tab Submission and Peer Review. So if you click on Submission and Peer Review, there's a submission checklist that I strongly advise you to follow. Make sure that you've done all the actions here. And the last item is run your manuscript through our manuscript language checker. Again, if your English is not your primary language, this tool is a formidable tool to check the language, improve the language. So if you click here to upload your document, you'll get an evaluation in less than a minute, and you get a score that is telling you the quality of the language and therefore the likelihood of acceptance. And if the quality score is not good enough, you will find some suggestions as to how to improve your paper, the language of your paper. So I find it also something extremely useful. And now let's see the questions. Wow, there are so many questions. And let me have a look. Let me have a look at all the questions.
I have
Dominique,
some questions
do you think
here at the moment, Fabio, if you would like me to read them out?
Yeah, you know, because there are so many. Well, do you think there is because we have few minutes, we have just 10 minutes. We need to, of course, make a decision. We can't answer them all. And is there any particular question that you think it would be, let me see here.
So we have some questions on manuscript submission. So the first one I have here is, in a recent manuscript I submitted, the journal flagged several sentences as being too similar to content from my previous publications, and the manuscript was then rejected for plagiarism. How can I avoid this issue in future submissions, especially when building on my own prior work?
Well, one suggestion would be to buy a personal subscription to one of these software, Authenticate. I think it's $100 per year. I mean, I don't know exactly. It depends on the country. I'm based in Italy, so I don't know what the price is in Zambia or China or whatever. But basically, in order to avoid this risk, it would be great if you carry out a simulation of your paper using one of this software. Because if there is a problem, you'll know it straight away, and you have an opportunity to change and address those problems and change those sentences, the text that is problematic. If you don't do that, once that you submit your paper, yes, you run the risk of your paper to be rejected. And that's, of course, very bad, and you'll get disappointed. And if you're using AI, well, you know probably better than me that in ChatGPT store there are a lot of applications that humanize texts. Well, I don't do that. I've never done that, but probably you have already experienced the fact that if you go in the store and if you go to the researchers tabs, you will find dozens of applications. So again, I can see that these are the two ways that you can solve this problem. But thank you for the question. That's very, very relevant.
Okay. And the next question I have here, Fabio, is there a limit on the number of times a revised manuscript can be resubmitted after making the requested changes?
No, there is no limitation. Actually, yeah, you know, the peer review process can carry on up to you are completely exhausted. I mean, it can take, I know it because I'm a researcher myself, okay? So I know it by experience. I can tell you that there might be situations in which your paper gets sent back to you several times, and you revise your paper and resubmit your paper, and then your paper gets reevaluated, and again it gets sent back to you with additional changes to be made. That can happen. Actually, it happens quite often. It rarely happens that you send your paper, get a request for revision, you revise your paper, wow, and that's it, fine. Your paper gets accepted. It's rare, so be prepared. But there is not an upper bounded number of times in which you can resubmit your paper. But be very careful, because if your paper gets rejected, definitely rejected, you can't resubmit. You must resubmit to a different paper. You have the liberty to resubmit to any other paper, sorry, to any other journal. You can't resubmit the same paper to the journal unless the paper has been completely renewed, changed. They realize that you are resubmitting, so don't try. So either you write it from scratch, okay, tabula rasa, you start again, write the article, write a new article and resubmit. But if you resubmit the same article that's been rejected, no chance. maybe a different journal, a different publisher may accept your paper. So it's not the end of the world. Thank you.
Great answer. So we've had a few questions come through regarding timelines. So if you could please share the typical timeline for review, acceptance and publication process of a research paper submitted to a Wiley journal.
All right. Well, first of all, let me give you an example here, because that's something that I can show you. If you use Journal Finder, okay, and you select any journal or more journals, okay, like here, you see here some important data. Let me just now carry out a comparison. I don't know, I just take, let me select different journals here. This one and this one. Start comparing. Okay, so you see here, submission to first decision, average 20 days. That's the average time that the publisher takes to make a decision once that you submit your paper. Obviously, there are other journals like Acta Neurologica Scandinavica that takes 96 days. Obviously, they are working days, okay? So this means that expect to wait 4 or 5 months just for the decision, okay? And same thing, acceptance rate, acceptance to online publication. Now, unfortunately, here we are not providing perhaps one of the most important information that you want to know, okay? How long does it take on average for the entire peer review process to be completed? We don't put this number because it varies so much. The quality of the article, so there is no standard time. An article can be processed in 6 months, and an article can be processed in 2 years. Okay, yes, that's the time that it can take, depending on the publisher, depending on the journal, depending on the editorial board, depending on the topic of the journal. So unfortunately, that's how it works. It's not rare, the situation where you submit a paper and you get your paper published online after a year or even 2 years. I know that you're not happy. I know that it's frustrating, but that's the reality of the situation. And we are doing everything we can to speed up the process, increase the human resources, increase the number of peer reviewers, to ensure that researchers get a good service, that the timing is acceptable. But obviously, what's happening right now, the number of article submission is exploding, literally exploding. 50% more submissions in 5 years' time. So we are trying to cope with this huge increase in workload. And we are also trying to use powerful AI tools to help us go through the process of evaluating thousands and thousands of article applications. So that's the situation. I don't know if I answered your question, but whoever of you encountered a process of frustration in publication, be rest assured that this is a common issue for all researchers all over the world, especially with the top publishers. And thank you, Dominique. I don't know, let me know if I answered, if you are satisfied with my answer, or because this is really, I know that this is a sensitive topic. It's an important topic for researchers around the globe. And I can see that there are some general problems that the most important publishers are now facing. And one of the problems are also related to the rapid and increasing use of artificial intelligence in writing papers. Okay, that can be also one of the problems, because researchers are using more and more AI tools, and they can basically come up with an entire article in one day, whereas before it took 3 months. And so basically the production of articles is exploding. And that's a problem, of course, that we need to tackle.
Thank you so much for running through those questions, Fabio. We are now at time. Do you have anything else that you would like to speak to the audience about before we finish up the session?
Yeah, I'll try to answer all the other questions. I hope this session has been useful for you. Of course, I'd like to thank all of you for the time that you have taken. Time is a precious resource. I wish all of you success with your publications. Let me know, again, reach me out on my email address if there is any problem, and if you wish to share experience or ideas. And thank you, Dominique, of course, for being with me and supporting me throughout the session. And what else? Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Bye.